Hey, welcome back to the Rachel and Adam show. Rich comes on the show every Tuesday, and we talk about health in terms of how your relationship is going at this thing and different topics, and we get kind of weird. And last week we asked for your topics that you guys wanted us to cover. And we went to a show last night, and we had a good discussion after the guy who did his hour-long presentation, and it was on expressing your passion. And so we were going to get into the idea of should you follow your passion today. Mm-hmm. And I think first I'm going to go around and I'm going to take like the thinker side of it, the analyzer side of it. And I think you're probably going to take the feeler side of it, I'm guessing. Or are you going to try to stay hardcore?
I mean, I didn't know I was taking a stance on one side or the other, so I'll just bounce off of you, I guess.
I bounce off of you. I thought that was the deal on this show.
Okay. Sure.
This is the deal that we do. We don't really cover these before so that we can stay fresh, so that we can have just like a think tank on this show. So definitely go ahead and write down in the comments section what you guys think. Should you follow your passion? Should you not follow your passion? How do you define as your passion? I'd really like to hear that. Are there any questions that you'd like them to address in the comments?
Like what they want to ask, like certain topics they should ask. I mean, if you disagree with anything we're saying, or if you have a story that applies to you, I mean, for us to say that we're not saying nobody should follow their passion. We're saying like for you to put that seed into a kid's head to think that that's the only thing that they should do. I think we all have different experiences, so we want to hear about the experiences.
If they disagree, that they should put it in the comments, and we can have a discussion there. Because really, that's what I don't think you like doing this as much as me. But I really like having discussions with people who completely disagree with me, and it's hard to get people to do that because they think you're going to get mad at them. But if I get mad, it's my problem, and if you get mad, that's your fault. If you get mad, it's your fault. If I get mad, it's my fault. So anyway, let's jump into this. Okay, so from the standpoint, I think that we should define what's going on here first.
Define passion?
Yeah, so how do you, I'm going to go through the actual dictionary definition and then what I think the status quo defines it as. How do you define it?
Your full energy and attention is on one thing, and I don't know. I'm sure there's more than one definition of passion, but like your full energy is on it, and it brings you joy, maybe. Okay. So and I think that would go along very much with the status quo. I didn't look it up or anything, I don't know.
But I think the status quo kind of tends to go along with that. Like your passion is this thing that you would do for free for the rest of your life, and you would just do it for no apparent reason other than the joy that it brings you. You're not going to be very passionate about it for very long if you don't have any money coming in from it. Well, okay, right. So maybe we need to. So we're gonna go into. So I wrote it out as career, and then as like more like a hobby, like something that you can do, and then like meaning and purpose is like my main 3 points. Yeah. And then I wanted to define it before we got going. And so here in just a second, I'm going to ask you what your 3 big points are, and then we can go into that. When I looked into it, I didn't really know what to consider. I think the status quo definition is very much about what Rach said. It sounds like it's like the thing that people think that you do with your life is your passion. I don't know if that's necessarily accurate or not, but the definition in terms of the Google is a strong and barely controllable emotion. That was one. And then the other one was the suffering death of Jesus. So that was the passion. So those are the 2 passions. So strongly and barely controllable emotion doesn't say anything about your vocation or the career that you choose. Those are kind of the same thing, similar things, but the career that you choose to do or the hobbies that you invest your time in. And when I went into the origin of this, it looked like the origin was is Passio maybe, and that was like a deeply rooted in Christian theology. And then the other one was a Pati, and that was Latin, and it meant to suffer. And so passion, like the origin of the word, is actually something about suffering and Christian theology. It has very little to do with this like emotion that we evoke. So somewhere along the line between it went like Latin to France to modern English, that we use it as this like form of finding what you want to do with your life.
Yeah, we've created the meaning into like a positive.
I don't know. Like suffering is like you steer away from this with me because like this is like the suffering. Like I don't want to get into theology here because I don't consider myself a Christian at all in terms of like practicing Christianity, but Christianity. But like to not look at and acknowledge the suffering of life would be a huge mistake. So saying like I don't look at suffering as like a negative or a positive. It just is. It's part of life. And if you're not ready to take on the suffering that life is going to provide, then you made a grave mistake in your life.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like I that's why I say like you gotta pull me off of that subject really quick.
All right.
All right. So what are your so we went over the definition. What are your 3 big points?
So as far as like looking for passion to choose a career path.
Yeah. So you were going career and then what else? Or you're thinking mostly career?
I mean, why else? Like, what are you looking for your passion for? I was assuming career.
Well, I think that's how that's how the status quo looks at it. Like, follow your passion. If you, if you follow your passion, the money, or if you go with your passion and the money will follow, or do what you love and the money will follow. Mm-hmm. Like, if you're passionate about what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. If we're talking that direction.
I think we should stay on career.
Let's go there.
Go anywhere.
Let's go there.
So I thought about, like, how did people used to, because, like, passion is kind of like a newer kind of thing. If you think about, like, how did people used to choose careers? It used to be a family thing, you know, or It was like, we had people on the farm and that you just got to do what needed to be done.
Yeah.
So that, like, it started out as that, and then all of a sudden it was just like, no, you need to find your passion and like dream big and blah blah blah. But
I think that was solely our generation too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
I think it's a recent thing that
I don't think our parents were told that.
Probably not. But I mean, there is a big change in our generation with the internet. Anybody can turn any business into something that is profitable just from like a passion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what you need to be doing or should be doing, or it's going to bring you happiness or joy, and nothing can go wrong. But if you think about what we start out as kids and you're told to follow your dreams, follow your passion, or what happens when you graduate high school? You have a party and everybody asks you, oh, so what major are you going into? And you're kind of forced to like decide your life in that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you don't know what your passion is,
that's pretty heavy for
it's a heavy, like, I don't know.
It's a big decision for somebody whose brain isn't fully developed. It'd be a big decision for a 60-year-old, let alone for an 18-year-old.
Yeah, or I mean, some kids know what they want to do, like in elementary school. Like if they love to cook, then they're like they practice. It turns into whatever they're succeeding at. It turns into their passion. But if you don't know, I think that it's kind of like we're set up with this fairy tale kind of mantra, like love at first sight. Like you see, I don't know, like an area that
like
you
last
like,
night,
and
like
then like he was talking
about Jimi Hendrix, and Jimi Hendrix saw a guitar and it just turned on for him. I want to do that.
But I think that's a rare thing
that's bullshit.
to portray to people that it happens like that.
I think the whole thing
is a development of.
Yeah, probably, but that's even if you're considering that passion is this real thing. Like, I don't think it's a real thing. I think it's a misunderstanding of the word that overly empathetic people use to try to make up for their lack of thinking or analyzing, and they throw it around to fool themselves into avoiding looking at the suffering that they're going through in their life. Like, I think you should just get rid of the word. I think it's a garbage word. It's like, follow your passion.
What would you call it then?
If we're going into a career, let's call it what it is. It's a vocation.
Okay.
And if you're going to a vocation, then you're going into meaning. You're going into purpose. You're going to something that
something that's going to bring, like, your skills bring value to someone
Yeah.
else.
I think if it's, well, now you're getting like the zero-sum game versus non-zero-sum game. Like if you get, a lot of people think that if you get paid for it, then someone else had to lose. And it's like, no. If you get paid for it, somebody else better have won, or you screwed up already.
That's how it works. Like,
but I think follow your passion is just terrible advice for a career.
well,
I'm not saying to not, like, if you have like the stereotypical passion and it you can make money on it and you really like doing it, like, I still think you're fooling yourself. But at the same time, like, I'm not saying to not follow your passion, but I'd like to just get rid of the word. Like, I don't use it very much, like, just in general.
what about the word interest?
Yeah, if you're deeply interested in something, that would work.
And even still, your interests change from...
They totally do.
Like, even 20 to 25. Like, if we were to ask 5-year-olds what their passion was, I want to be an ice skater. I want to...
My little sister wanted to be a kitty. She wanted to grow up and be a kitty. I was like, I don't know if there's a lot of...
you're going to make money doing that.
I don't know. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to be like a mascot or something? But you see this with American Idol.
I wanted to be a taxi driver.
Did you?
Yeah.
You can still do that if you really wanted to.
But that's not my passion. At that moment, I was like, in that spark, I see a taxi driver on TV getting money, and I was like, oh yeah, that's an easy job. Like, okay, so you get to talk to people, and
you get money doing it. So the light bulb came on in you is like, that's a way that I could make money.
It was an interest.
And it was an interest.
I could have followed it.
But like, this is the thing. So this is what we were talking about earlier when we were going over just a little bit. Like, I think it comes down to the why behind what you want to do. Yeah. I don't think it's about the passion. I think it's like, why?
Figure out your why.
It's like people who want to be a doctor. I've talked with a lot of people about this, and they're like, I want to be a doctor when I grow up. I'm like, why do you want to be a doctor? Well, because they make a lot of money. Well, why do you like, or I want to be rich and famous. It's like, okay, well, why do you want to be rich and famous? It's because I want to be rich. And it's like, all right, well, why, like, do you have to be famous to be rich? Well, I don't know. Do you? Don't you? And it's like, no, you don't have to be famous to be rich. So if you want to be rich, there's other ways to go about being rich. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, so,
well, because not all famous people like being famous.
It would be terrible.
Yeah,
it would suck so bad.
Too much of a good thing. So
I am so reluctant to do these videos because I know that people are gonna like the idea is to blow up so that more and more people see them so that they benefit from them. But like, that's like the why behind my what for doing these things. Like Nietzsche said, Nietzsche was a really weird dude, but he said that something about a strong why can survive. Or can bear any what, I think, or something like that. And Simon Sinek has the golden circle where he talks about finding your why. And I think like a what gets you started, but a why keeps you going even when you've endured like deep amount of pain. Like, so the why will keep you from quitting. But that's where I think you get into the meaning and the purpose behind what you want to do. And people like do this thing with passion where they're like, this is what I want to do. And it's like, all right, why do you want to do it?
So what are some typical like whys that people would have?
It always is going to boil down to the life that you want to experience every single time, like every single time.
Well, I've done this. You want to experience.
I've done the what why exercise with thousands of people, and I don't know. I'm probably in the thousands at this point. And every time it comes down to something about the experience that they want to have in this life.
Like, I want to help people.
I want to help people. I want to make a lot.
Be a positive influence.
Yeah, but that still comes down to the experience that they're trying to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
But I think you get rid of the word passion and you say I want to do this, and then you ask why. And I think once you ask why, then now you're getting to somewhere.
Yeah. So you're narrowing your interest or your passion.
We're figuring out why. Like, if you can figure out why you want to do it, then like I could take my why. My why is to inspire the freedom to experience the life that you want to live.
That's pretty narrow.
But I could apply that to anything. I could apply that to working construction. I could apply it to strength and conditioning. I could apply that to being a doctor. I could apply that to being a lawyer. I think it would be very hard to do that with a lawyer.
Yeah.
But I think it'd be very hard to do that with a doctor too. But we were having a conversation with Chloe that one day where she's like, I want to be a dentist. I'm like, why? She's like, because they make bank. And I was like, well,
lots of other things make bank.
There's other ways to make bank besides being a dentist. Do you want to be a dentist?
Yeah. What about being a dentist is enjoyable for you?
Yeah, exactly.
So, are you okay with like moving on?
Yeah, you could have stopped me.
I had a question like, so what does this do to like mental health if like people are so focused on like finding their passion and choosing a career and blah 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 blah, like in a vulnerable state, like maybe not vulnerable but like being young and having an expectation of this is how it is and this is what you have to do, like how does that mess with your ability to give you self-worth at the end of that?
I think
like if you can't find your passion and everybody around you is supposedly finding their passion, then
I think that goes into the same thing as the what we were talking about earlier with the suffering thing. Like if you just accept that life has a certain amount of suffering in it instead of life is supposed to be happy and you're supposed to be happy all the time, everybody be really happy. If you expect yourself to be happy all the time and you get out in the real world and you're like, but I'm not happy, man, I must be the weird one. I better go do something
happy or easy or
you expect it to be easy, you expect to be happy, you expect to be like all these things, and it's just like, and it's not. Well, that's funny. And it's not, then you set yourself up for failure. It's like, well, it wasn't supposed to be this way. But if you say if you say there's going to be a certain amount of suffering, you're going to have to work really hard. This is the one thing that my mom did so well with me. It's just so well. And I could have very easily turned into like the self-victimizing category with all the obstacles that I had. And she said, you're going to have to work 10 times as hard as everybody else. Like she never sugarcoated it. It's like, we're going to work and that's how it's going to be.
She set the bar.
Yeah.
She set the expectation. Like this isn't something that you're gonna let get in your way.
Yeah. So what was your original question? When everybody's finding their passion and you're not. I think that's a setup for failure, because what happens when you're like, oh my God, I'm supposed to know my passion by now. It's like, are you? Are you really? Like, no. For one, why are you even searching for your passion? You need to have a certain amount of things. We need to find a strong why. Mm-hmm. Like, why do you want to do the things that you want to do? And then it's got, like, we're going to focus on career, which is what we're talking about, then it's got to make money. Like, you're not going to get away from that one.
You can still do your interests on the side, but if you're choosing a career,
that was going to be my third thing. Is like, if you do have this passionate thing, like, who says that you have to be paid for it? Like
you can be passionate about karate. You could love it, like everything. You could do it 10 hours a day, but that doesn't ever make the possibility, like, it's very rare for you to go into that knowing that you're going to be financially sound for the rest of your life.
Erin was talking about, when we were talking about this last night, she said...
Yeah, Erin. I wish she was on here right now.
That she loves quilting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was quilting, right?
But she's an accountant, so...
Yeah.
She does quilting on her own time, and
she
loves it.
Meaning in the position of her accounting job.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that I think, like, you don't have to be passionate about accounting.
Yeah, she has meaning behind it as well.
Yeah, it serves its purpose. But to go along with the thing I was thinking of was American Idol.
Okay, what about American Idol?
When you said
William Chung.
Well, William Chung turned it into, like, he's so bad that he's amazing.
Yeah,
she bang.
He was so bad, and he said he was following his passion. And they're like, really? You think you're going to, like, follow your passion? And then, like, out of the blue, he's putting out a CD and selling millions of copies.
Like, he's an anomaly, though. Like,
exactly,
there are so many other American Idols that were there, that it was their life's passion to sing, and it's just never going to happen for them.
And nobody told them along the way, like,
and no one told them along the way that maybe you should, like, 25 years in and you've given everything to this, and it's like that's really sad. And who said that you can't go to an open mic night and still perform?
Yeah, you can still do that.
Like, just like Erin, like, she can still quilt. It's totally fine. I think this is a really interesting. I think it's terrible advice that we're giving to kids, though. I think it was terrible advice that we were responding to. Like, if you don't follow your passion, like there's something wrong with you. It's like that's dumb. Like that's worse advice than than just go for money no matter what.
So with that, like maybe a better way to look at it would be what? Like, I kind of wrote down, does your value and your success lead to passion? Like once you like are trying like careers, like I don't know, what's a common career that you start out with? Like the food industry or, I don't know, babysitting or like. You mean something in that moment,
didn't like at the beginning?
Yeah,
that
you didn't
end up liking
and you would have never thought that it was a passion. Like, does that value that you bring and you're good at breed into a passion?
I think there's something there. I mean,
I value things that I'm really good at that I never knew I was good at.
But at the same time, you've got like certain people have just intrinsic things that they're really good at. Like I can put down a ton of food. I'm a professional eater without trying.
Yeah.
I'm just I could go out and win plenty of competitions and probably make a living being a professional eater. Dead serious. Could do it. No practice necessary. Just right now.
But are you passionate about that?
But I wouldn't want to do it anyway. Like, no, I just don't want to. Even though you're good at it. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's and some people say there's that one football player, the bionic kid or whatever his name is, that he's probably one of the best NFL quarterbacks to ever hit the league, and he's just like, and people say he threw away a gift, and he's like, yeah, but it was mine to throw away.
Yeah, that's his decision to make.
Yeah.
It's not, he might have the talent for it, but if that doesn't bring him joy, then why would he want to do it?
I don't know.
He shouldn't do it for everyone else.
But you just, this is one of the things though, like, I don't think it's all about getting joy though. Like, you're going to have days, like, I think what I do is I'm awesome. Like, it's the coolest job. I hate it sometimes. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's the last thing I want to do. So, like, you have a little bit of a paradox going on there with the whole passion thing that I think really gets people screwed up. It's kind of like this. Like, like if we get into a fight, at that moment, I didn't really like being in this relationship. Doesn't mean you don't, like, we don't still love each other.
No.
But
that's not the definition. So
it's like,
of unconditional love.
I love my job. Okay. But just like, it's a paradox. Like, just because you didn't like that you love your job doesn't mean that you're never going to work another day in your life. That's a silly cliche thing to say.
Well, and you don't want, I mean, nobody's going to love their job 100% of the time, but if their why is stronger than how they're hating their job at that moment, then you can push through it, and you're stronger at the end.
Yeah.
I mean,
did I just hijack what you were going for there?
I don't know. I can't.
I think I've hijacked a few of the things that you were going for.
I don't know. I can't remember what I was gonna say, but
usually that's the other way around.
Yeah.
I do think there is like a question of why do you do anything? This is a big thing I've enjoyed wrestling with for decades. When I was 4 years old, I remember asking my dad something about the sun or the moon, and that turned into the sun. I was asking questions about the moon, and I started asking questions about the sun. He said it was a ball of gas, and I was like, well, that's weird, because like, won't a ball of gas burn up someday? And he goes, yeah, it'll burn up. And I go, then what'll happen to us? And he goes, Adam, that'll be billions of years from now. Like, all of humankind will be extinct by then. And I was like, wait a minute.
Like, you mean they're not
like,
gonna be
what are you talking
forever?
about? And he's like, yeah. And then the sun will expand out. Like, when this does happen, it'll boil the oceans. The earth will just blow up. Pieces of you and me and Rachel, like, our head will go one way, our toes will go the other way, to opposite ends of the universe. And so why do you do anything? Like, this is a weird thing. Like, for a 4-year-old to have this thought, like, everything's just going to end. Why do we do anything? And because I've just enjoyed analyzing this for
well, how
the last
did you
30
figure
years.
it out? How did you settle that?
I haven't. I think it's a thing that just continually.
Well, you get this. It's
but I don't think
trip.
I don't think it's passion.
Well,
But I think it comes down to living the experience that you want to have. Whether you're an atheist or you're a theist or you think there's an afterlife or not, I think it comes down to living the experience that you're going to have right here, right now.
And that's all you can do, and you have to be okay with that.
Yeah, but that was a really dark moment for a 4-year-old.
As a 4-year-old, it's kind of sad.
Oh, that was like, I remember getting sick. Like, I
remember hearing that for the first time too. Like, one of my friends was like, yeah, my dad said that the earth is gonna blow up one day and we won't be here. And I was just like, no, he didn't. That's not true.
It'll be okay.
Yeah, but in that moment, you're just like, wait, it does end. There is an ending.
Yeah.
And everybody that you love will not be around.
And that's the thing, like, it is sad, and not in a negative way, first of all. And second of all, that's not a morbid, people think that's like a morbid negative thought. And it's like, no, it's not. It's a very beautiful thought. It makes you appreciate everything about this moment. It makes you appreciate your life as it is, because like we tend to think like, oh, this thing's infinite. We're just going to keep on living and living and living. When really, like, you're a finite organism. You're going to die.
So you can find passion in that, then, can't you?
Passion in what?
Well, if you're, I kind of, the way that I wrote it down, like it's all the full force of your attention.
Okay.
Like, so it's like being present and like knowing what's important to you at that moment.
Yeah.
Like if that's what it's all about, then it's kind of...
If that's what you're defining as passion, then yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess.
But words are containers, so
yeah.
we're kind of having a words are containers
Everybody can interpret it their own way, I guess.
Yeah. I think you just got to get clear on. That's why I wanted to do the definition up front, so that we had a mutually agreed upon
understanding of where it was
the word.
going.
So like the word that's in the word that's in the dictionary apparently, or Google's dictionary, has nothing to do with vocation. So I just think it's a very like misleading word.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, yeah. And now that I've looked at the definition, I understand how it can be misleading and yeah.
Do what you love and the money will follow. I remember hearing that and like believing it. And then I got out in the real world in the first year, I made $13,000.
Working your
working my ass off. Yeah. Like working 60 hours a week and just like putting myself in these outrageously uncomfortable positions.
But then that also forced you to
awful.
kind of like narrow in on like, I need to refocus this. Like I can't do this for the rest of my life.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like in that moment, your passion, you're doing it and the money wasn't following. Like you could have kept doing that, the same thing that you were doing, but it wasn't like you were going to start making lots and lots and lots of money doing the exact same thing. It kind of forced you to refocus that and choose a different path.
Yeah.
For the better.
Yeah, for the better. But at the same time, like there's just not a lot of money in doing this. It's never going to happen. Like there's just not, it's not an option.
You got to get creative.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah. Should we wrap it up?
Yes, we should. Totally losing my voice.
I was just going to see what the time is.
It's somewhat.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Excuse me, guys. All right, you want to wrap us up since I can't talk?
Sure.
Is there anything else that you wanted to say? Because I kind of completely dominated you the entire show, and
I mean, I kind of didn't say like.
error.
Well, I did. Like I don't know. Like finding your why, I think, is the biggest point of it all. Like the Dean. What's his face? I always forget his last name. Graciosi.
I've never seen anything by him except for his ads, and they're just...
Well, yeah, minus his ads.
In my face all the time.
But he does have this thing where he was like, the 7 layers of, like, it's basically like figuring out your why by saying, like, what makes you happy.
Okay.
Like, and it gets down to the very, 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 very basic level.
Okay.
Like, if you get down to that level, you can go from there, kind of thing. So... Like
you mean when you get down to the bottom of your why, then you can go from there?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Because people, in a broad way, like if your why is just like helping people, then, but why do you want to help people?
Why do you want to help people?
Why do you want to help people?
Why do I want to help people?
Yeah.
Because it feels good.
Yeah. It gives you like a drive. So once you figure out that, it kind of becomes easier to... like anybody can be a doctor, but if your passion or your why isn't helping people, then that's probably not the place for you. It's going to drain you. It's going to like take away from
if you got into being a
your
doctor
life
for the status of being a doctor or for the money,
I think that's what many people do.
You messed
or
up.
like if your parents did it or anything. If you're doing it for somebody else, then it's going to kick you in the ass later
there's
on.
a lot of miserable doctors and a lot of not miserable, I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of doctors and a lot of lawyers out there that know.
We're not just picking on doctors and lawyers, but
I
it's just
will.
like the two, like people think, oh, once you get there, you've made it. I think those are like the two big ones. It's like, oh, you're a doctor, okay. Like,
it's
oh,
sending-
you figured it all out. But really, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think that those should be, unless that's what really drives you. So, I don't know. I guess that's the rest of my...
I think it's a real lack of like that right there is a real lack of analyzing the scenario and not realizing that there's another side to that whole coin. Like the Jim Carrey thing where he's like, I hope everybody gets all their dreams, wishes, and goals so that they find out that that's not the answer. At the same time, that like if you look at that on one side, you could read that as, well, I better just give up on all my goals, dreams, and wishes because that's not the answer. I better go for another answer. No,
because you can get that.
It's getting the goals, dreams, and wishes, and also getting the other side of the scenario and seeing that you don't have to wait to be happy or wait to have purpose or wait to have meaning or wait to have anything that you want in your life before. You don't have to wait to get your dream before you have all the other things. You can have all the other things and get to the goal. You can have both. It's not an either or. Yeah.
And I don't think there should be shame in that. And if something's not working, you can always change it. You can always try something else. It's not the end of the world. Because you don't want to be stuck for the rest of your life doing something that you absolutely hate.
I think that's the biggest error with college. College is the stupidest system. For a bunch of very smart people, it's a dumb system.
Okay, but
like
at least you can change your major.
Take this kid. No, take this kid and give them a month. Just do 3-month internship. After 3 months, do like 2 years of all you do is every 3 months you do an internship for a different.
Immerse them in whatever
for a different thing that they might be interested in. You want to go in psychology? You go to the different fields of psychology. And you're like, okay, well that one interests me. I'll go in and you go shadow that person for 3 months. Or you want to go into strength and conditioning? You go to a college strength and conditioning program. You're like, okay, well that's what I think I might want to do. Shadow them for 3 months, and you shadow, or you do internship after internship after internship, and then after 2 years of that, so now you've had 4. So now you've had 8 different internships. Now maybe you have a tiny little morsel of some kind of idea of what you might want or not want to do with your life. Instead, we're like, hey, you're 18, pick. Go through 4 to 8 years of school, and then you get to experience whether you're going to like it or not. Dumb.
True. All right, I guess that's it.
I don't know if I let you get out your last things there.
No, I'm good.
I didn't realize I was so hyped up today.
No, it's okay. You're passionate.
I'm so passionate. Uncontrollable passion. Or uncontrollable enthusiasm, isn't that what it was? Or emotion. Or the suffering of Christ. That's the other definition. Mm-hmm. 1 or 2. Polars. All right, thanks for being here, guys. You want to sign us out?
No, you're good.
Please like, comment, share down below. If you got something out of this, let us know. If you disagree with something, let us know. I would very much I know I get intense about this stuff, but I'm not really emotionally attached to anything. I really like it when people disagree with me on topics because then I get to sort through.
Gain some new understanding.
Exactly. Thanks.
Yeah.
But Rach 2, we're both in there. But anyway, thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Please like, comment, share, and we'll see you next week.